The First Black Phone, directed by Scott Derrickson and written by C. Robert Cargill, was a remarkably successful adaptation of the Joe Hill short story. It gave us the Grabber, a mysterious kidnapper and killer of young boys with a stunningly memorable mask. He picks on the wrong boy, though, when Finney is pulled into his orbit and learns to combat the serial killer and survive thanks to communication with the souls of his earlier victims. Communication he accomplishes via calls from the basement's titular, disconnected Black Phone. Black Phone 2 evolves the protagonists and the Grabber in wild new directions, and it boasts many excellent scenes and great central performances. However, clunky lines, ill-thought-out themes, and a slow introduction of the antagonist work to mar the film's virtues.
What is the Black Phone 2 about? Picking up years from the Grabber's death at Finney's hands in the first film, this iteration sees the boy's sister, Gwen, attempt to save the life of a teenage girl with her growing psychic abilities, while Finney's trauma is manifesting in a newfound dabbling with pot and a host of anger issues. Gwen's dreams connect her to a mysterious Christian youth camp and ominous visions of dead boys, while Finney starts to get suspicious that the years-dead Grabber may not truly be finished. The siblings find the Christian youth camp, but they don't discover Jesus. They find a very different supernaturally risen man, and this one's back with a vengeance. Part of the original's charm lay in the simplicity of the premise. A mysterious serial killer is thwarted by a resourceful boy who can inexplicably communicate with the killer's victims. The film notably expanded on the short story, but it was relatively unladen with needless detail. A lot of that gets filled in for the Black Phone 2, from increased clarity about Gwen's psychic power to new lore about the Grabber's past, as well as a wealth of new details about the children's seemingly suicidal mother. As it turns out, the Grabber had a major prior impact on their family's history even before he abducted Finney, and it set the stage for a lot of the film's events. The Black Phone 2 evolves the story and characters from the first movie.
These new details are both a blessing and a curse. On the one hand, some of them add quite a bit. The new information about the Grabber builds the myth well, and some of that detail with the mom does evolve the family's story in a useful way. Gwen's powers make for a useful heroic evolution as well, upping the protagonist's power to deal with the increased threat. The choice to portray Gwen's all-important dreams in grainy, retro footage is brilliant and well executed. It gives the memories a palpable but otherworldly feel that befits what the character's going through. The Grabber's description of hell as a place where the human is stripped works as a solid villain framework. It's unclear if he escaped hell or if hell takes baddies, upgrades them, and releases them for chaos, but either works well. What works less well is the heavy-handed, voluminous Christian additions that were nowhere in the original. In the sequel, everybody goes to church camp because Gwen's mother was a secret devout Christian, which influenced Gwen to be a secret Christian who casually talks to Jesus. For something that wasn't a sparkle in the metaphorical eye of the first film, it goes straight to character-changing, heavy-handed thematics that nearly hit Angel Studios levels but contribute nothing to the film's real framework. This isn't The Exorcist, and God doesn't notably save the day. Heavy-handedness is an overall problem in Black Phone 2, with several clunky lines of dialogue serving as remarkably unsubtle plot advancers. Cargill is an excellent writer, and there are myriad good ideas here, but there are also more than a few rough edges that suggest another draft and a little more time would have been godsend.
The Black Phone 2 could use more Ethan Hawke, but he's scarier than ever.
The performances here largely land to a remarkable degree. Mason Thames, now notably older, continues to create an interesting Finney. Here, he embodies an angry form of trauma while learning to face his past squarely, and it's a solid performance. The film has pivoted in this iteration to Gwen as the protagonist, giving her significantly more screen time, evolved and complex emotions, and a bigger role in defeating the baddie. And McGraw is excellent.
Here, she's a screen queen par excellence, with numerous moments showcasing her acting prowess. Ethan Hawke finds new ways to step up his already considerable game here, giving the grabber a new layer of otherworldly menace and sporting some of his best and most haunting lines in the series. In the first, he was mysterious and dangerous, but hard to read. Here, he's an unforgettable, otherworldly presence, and the film only benefits from this shift. Altogether, Black Phone 2 is a mixed bag that still has some clear winning attributes. Ethan Hawke has always been good, but he's never been scarier as the grabber. However, it takes far too long for his reveal and for the narrative to truly get going. There are some oddly scripted moments, but the central stars deliver great performances. When the grabber finally inserts himself into the film's back half, his inclusions really work, though it does leave you wanting far more of Hawke's presence. Derrickson's direction is once again quite inspired, full of interesting visuals and a host of good ideas. There are a number of small detailed nitpicks, but they mostly speak to the need for a little more time between the first film and the sequel, and a little more plot development beforehand. Black Phone 2 is an entertaining film that could have been great if the studio heads had taken a little more time before they grabbed it. Black Phone 2 releases in theaters on October 17.